I think I just wanted a fresh start, a new beginning. I heard someone say they thought I was running from something, and honestly, they might be right. I'm running from regret. It's weird because I feel like I went back to the future to close a chapter. It's like I've been living at 50% of my full capacity, and I just didn't want to get to the end and think, what if? So I jumped, finally leaned on faith for once. It feels right, and I'm gonna do everything in my power to honor that. Maybe me letting God's light shine in my life is enough to inspire someone else to take a chance at their own. I mean, isn't that what life is all about? Expressing God's light through the gifts that He gave us. Well, this is me choosing to lean into it all. Mastering the game, mastering grief, turning vision into something tangible, actively practicing peace. So if you're looking for me, I'm probably somewhere vibing. So I guess the $1,000,000 question is, why did you do that? Like, it's what everybody keeps asking me. And it's like a 50-50 thing. Like 50% of people are like, yo, that's dope. Like maybe more than 50, maybe 75% of people are like, yo, that's dope. And there's like a 25% of people that's like, yo, what are you thinking? Like, why would you do that? And honestly, it's a long version of the story and it's a short version of the story, but I'm gonna give y'all both actually. So long version of the story, I started my basketball career at Charlotte my freshman year. Um, I wanted to play in the ACC my whole life. I wasn't good enough out of high school, like different factors. I got hurt, had to rehab, like missed a year. Like it was a lot of different stuff that went into it. But like long story short, I just wasn't nice enough to get offered by the ACC school. So I went to Charlotte, balled out. And then after my freshman year, decided to transfer, went to NC State, had a great career there, enjoyed it thoroughly. Coming out of college, played summer league with the Hornets, went to Poland my rookie year though. That was up and down. COVID happened, we got sent home, and then I was going back to that same team in Poland. And the same day I was going back, my mom ended up getting diagnosed with colon cancer, but we'll talk about that in a whole nother segment of this video. So I end up missing a whole year. Then I end up here in the Czech Republic, and this was like, find it, bro. Like, best statistical year I've ever had in my life. I'm leading the league in scoring, steals, like I'm hooping, thinking like, oh, bad, like I'm about to get paid next year, like it's about to go up, but I end up tearing my ACL, breaking my hand same season, and it was over. Like I would kind of went into this little small time depression. But it's crazy how life works. Like I was over here, I'm in the crib, can't move. And I end up calling one of my coaches from NC State, who is like a big brother to me. And it's like one of them relationships, you got them people that you don't really call like that, or they don't OS, so he ain't really answering FaceTime. But he answered the FaceTime. I called just on some humbug. So I called him, he answers, and we get to talking. He's like, yo, come home, like, come back, be a GA. I think you'll have a good energy around the guys. You'll be able to, impact them, and you can rehab here. And then when you're ready to play, you can go back to playing. Cool. So I get home, go to do that, get back to school. And it's like another like back to the future experience where now I'm in this environment that I used to be in, but now I have different knowledge that I'm able to teach to guys that are in the same shoes as me, but maybe they, are a step behind in terms of like what they know, because now I've played pro, I've had these experiences, and I can go and pay that back and pay that forward, really. So it was probably one of the coolest experiences of my life, and it changed me. And in my brain, I thought like, okay, this is my calling. Like I found it, like coaching. And it was very like specific moments where, all right, I'm giving a guy a game on something I used to do that helped me out of a tough situation. And now they get out of a tough situation. It's like this full circle payoff type of deal. But I do that for a year and I'm just not healthy enough to go back. Like I'm thinking like, can I get back to my career? But I'm not healthy. So I ended up going to Salt Lake City and taking a player development job with the Salt Lake City Stars in the G League. And that was dope too. Like I got to do everything. I got to do scouts. I got to build relationships with players that, are now like friends of mine, to the point where that same knowledge that I was gaining along this journey, like I'm able to pass that on. So it's all this big, like it's crazy. Year after that, I get basically promoted, moved up to the Jazz in their video room. And that was a whole nother experience, seeing like the NBA for, the big business that it is, being able to see like how these guys that are performing at the highest peak of athleticism are training, how they working, how they're preparing their bodies, their minds, their spirits to be able to compete on the court and almost be like modern day gladiators. And that was like unbelievable experience. But at some point, like I just started to feel like I was watching other people live the dream that I dreamed my entire life. And yeah, some might say like you got hurt and you got sent on this other path and that was God telling you to do this. But I do believe that if God is real and God is putting things on your heart, then he can also redirect you and pivot you somewhere else. And maybe that somewhere else is right back to where you were, with a different mindset, with a different mentality. And I don't know, I couldn't decide if I wanted to do it. So I started working out again. And that's usually the telltale sign. Like, you can say you want to hoop, but do you want to work out? Do you want to put the work in and grind for it? So I start working out again. And I'm like, okay, like the fire's still there. And then I was having a conversation with my agent about my brother, actually, who plays at Elon. He's a sophomore, Nick. And we were talking about him and, how well he's playing and if he's got a chance to be really, really good. So we get to joking. I jokingly said, like, man, I'm feeling good. Like I might come out of retirement. And my agent's like, there might be a possibility. Like if you still got it and you can still perform. It might not be too late. Like it's getting there, but it might not be too late. So I called my little brother and I asked him like, yo, if you was me, would you play again? And he, with the straightest face, looked at me and goes, oh no, like, if you can wake that killer up. I said, what? You asking me about a killer? And I've been trying to teach you how to be a killer for 10 years? And you like questioning my killer instinct? Like, but it was it was a crazy moment because like at that point in time, I knew that he got it. Like he got what I was trying to teach him for so long. Like he's there. Like my job it's done. It's not done, but it's done. Like it was an emotional moment. And at the same time, it was a push. It was like a kick in the ass. Like, yo, what? So at that moment, like it went to a whole nother level mentality wise as to like what I'm doing this for. Start training, picking that up. So I go to see him play. I fly to Charlotte, and me and my dad drive to East Tennessee to see Nick play. And we get to the game and I'm like praying like on the road, like, yo, God, give me a sign on whether to do this. Cause like, this is a major change. Like I'm working full time for the Jazz and we're mid-season. Ain't nobody ever left mid-season to go start hooping. Like that's crazy. But there's an opportunity on the table now. And it's like, do you take it and leave what you got going on? Or do you stay and kind of ride it out? So I go to the game and walking into the game, I say, God, please give me a sign. So we get the warm-ups, boom, boom. They go to tip off and they get to playing Kanye West. No one man should have all that power. And that was like my pregame song at NC State. They play that before every game and I would get locked in and I would be singing that this would be a beautiful death. And that was like, signal to my brain that like, yo, it's time for war. Like, let's go. So I was like, okay, God, like you what we got going? Like, what kind of sign is this? Then 4 minutes into the game, Nick's point guard, TK, he goes down. with a knee injury. And to me, it looked like his joint was done. It looked just like mine. And I kind of got emotional watching it. And I'm sitting right behind the bench. He goes in the locker room, comes back out, and he's sitting right in front of me. And I want to tap him and be like, yo, bro, like, you good. You'll be able to get back. Like, it's nothing. Like, you can rehab and get back to this level. Like, it's nothing. But I couldn't. Like, I felt like a coward even trying to talk to him. And I didn't say nothing. I couldn't tap him. I couldn't. And I literally started tearing up because I never did it. I never put in the work to get back to that level of play and get back to being on the court, like living my dreams that I had since I was a kid. And that was the first time that I wanted to give some knowledge to somebody, but I don't ever want to be the person that's telling you something that I ain't done, because that just feels kind of fraudulent to me. So I just sat there quiet the rest of the game. I didn't say another word, and I almost couldn't even watch it. But it was at that moment that I knew I had to get back. I had to give it a shot, even if it was one game. And that's all I could do was get on the court once. I had to be able to turn 40, turn 50, have a son, have a daughter, and be able to tell them, like, no matter what life throws at you, if you got the heart and you got the determination, and you got the faith to get back, you can always get back. And that's why I did it. So now we here. It's been 8 games so far. This has been the most difficult, challenging, beautiful, peaceful experience and journey that I've ever been on in my life. I've learned so much. One, you can't cheat the grind, like she always knows. Like, whatever you put in, you're going to get out. That's with basketball. That's with life. That's with anything you do. Like, you put the work in, you get the result. Like, you lift the weights, you get stronger. You put in the reps, you shoot the ball better. Like, you you put the time into learning business, learning marketing, you make money. Like, it's literally cause and effect. 2, you got to accept reality and then submit to that reality. Like, it's weird. Like, submitting to reality doesn't necessarily mean you playing victim to where you at, but you gotta know and have self-awareness to say, like, yo, I'm here. And if I want to go somewhere else, I gotta change and become a different person. And I gotta work to be that. Like, you can be whatever you want to be in life, but if you don't accept where you are and then take inventory of what you're doing, take inventory of where you at, how you got there, and then change something, you'll be the same person forever, running around this hamster wheel on this cycle of mediocrity. Like, you gotta accept where you at, and that will allow you to develop the plan to propel yourself forward. And the third lesson is, like, stop searching for the old you. Like, that was my biggest thing coming back to the game. I'm like, yo, I gotta find, I was number 2. I gotta find number 2. I gotta find that killer again. Like, I gotta get back to that place. But the whole time I was trying to get back to that place, that is exactly why I wasn't where I needed to be or where I wanted to be in my career. It's because that person was selfish. That person played for self, and, like, not even in a bad way, but sometimes this is such a self-serving society we live in, especially in the West, to where it's a lot of individualism. But on the court, like, I never played where I just fully submitted to the game and gave everything that I have to my teammates and allow that to, like, full circle come back to me. So out of 8 games we played so far, I say the first 7, I was searching for my old self. And in game 8, I said, you know what? The old me's dead. Like, this is, like, I used to wear 2, now I'm 21. Like, I'm embracing number 21. Like, this is a new version of who I used to be, with the knowledge that I've gained over a 3-year coaching career, having coached in high school, college, in the pros, years of playing, seeing, like, work ethic, like, different things, being able to impart that knowledge on the next generation, on my teammates, and, like, completely stepping out of myself and diving into what can help everybody else around me be better. And in turn, that'll make me better. So that's the journey that I'm on now with basketball, is trying to marry player and coach and completely, like, take myself out of the equation. Like, obviously I put the work in. I'm going to do what I need to do to be to honor the craft and be the best player that I possibly can be. But in terms of intention, everything is outward to pay myself back inward. And that's just something that I want to do on the floor as well in life, because life mirrors basketball and vice versa. And that's why I do this, because there's so many things that can be taught through the game about life and vice versa. So I'm just so happy to be on this journey, and I'm happy that you guys on this journey with me now. So if you're rocking with it, let's learn something together, man. But shoot, we played last night. It's an off day. I'm about to go get me some coffee in this beautiful city of Jędrzejków, Czech Republic. Man, y'all welcome to come with me.
Shameless Fit Check hat. I don't know. It's made me look at the details in life in a whole different way. Like, I used to look at fashion people and be like, "Yo, what are y'all doing? Like, you into designer, or you worried about like the wrong things?" But then once I started creating, and I started creating from trauma, like I told you guys that my mom passed. Well, I don't know if I told you actually, but when I said earlier in the video that my career kind of got derailed after COVID, is because my mom got diagnosed with colon cancer and she eventually passed. And I began to create as a way of coping with that and grieving and keeping her spirit alive. And as I began to create, I started to like see design in a whole nother way. Like, I started to understand the details and the beauty in the details. And that's like a key component to life, is like the details can turn something mundane into something beautiful. And the people who are keying in on those details and paying attention to them, they'll start to see colors where most people will see gray. And you're able to like see life in a different lens when you're looking at the little small touches that other people are necessarily missing. So that's probably one of the biggest things that I've learned throughout this whole grief journey, is to look at the details for what they are and find beauty in the small things. Like, for example, like this piece of sweater is a patch of a sweater that my mom used to wear, you know? So when you see these sweater patches, it's not even the garment itself. It's the idea that energy can never be denied or destroyed. It only changes form. Like, that's what Love Rhonda, the brand, is all about. Like, there's a message there. There's an energy. There's a consistent story about finding yourself and then finding yourself again, or seeing life in one form and then seeing it in another. Like, being able to see life through different lenses and create different meanings for the traumas that you go through. Like, it's only a trauma if you look at it like that. It's only a loss if you take it as a loss. You can win. You can find a win in every loss, every time. Promise you. Like, as long as you got breath in your body, you got another chance to find a win in a loss. Like, I'm actually on the way home right now to work on Love Rhonda, because I've been trying to get these hats out since February 9th is when they were supposed to drop. That was her birthday. But obviously I moved to the Czech Republic late January, abruptly, random, week's notice. So I was too busy worrying about trying to find a sublease for my apartment, get my car shipped back home. There was so much going on. So I had to push back the release of these hats. But now we got a little footing where we at, and I'm back working on it, trying to get them out. Got a couple of cool things going with it. Like, I'm doing this audio diary that I want to drop with the hats. And just hopefully that, along with the garment itself, can tell this story about life and love and finding it all over again. So, yeah, this is Lavonda.
It's hard to find words for what love truly means, so we stitch it into the product. Every hat, every tote, every patch woven with a promise that no matter what form it comes in physically, love lives forever. Love Rhonda, Collection 2.